This is Majinoni, and here's a stack of comic reviews for you today. Some of them I'm going to go kind of quick, and others I'll go a little bit more depth, but we'll get through it. Anyways, first up, as you can see, is E for Extinction #1. This is a Secret War tie-in-ish book. Now, basically, this is a world where Charles Xavier commits suicide because of Cassandra got into his head, won't get out, and so he decided to end his life. Years later, Magneto basically runs the X-Men, and this basically goes back to the Grant Morrison run, if you recognize some of the characters. Then you throw in, like, Cyclops and Emma, and they're like the classic X-Men team that's always like 10 minutes too late. And what I can say is it really, honestly, it just, I think the combination of the artwork and combination of the story was just really wearing me down in terms of I really wasn't enjoying it. On the plus side, though, we got to see what mutant sperm looked like, or sperm that contained the mutant DNA. When we get towards the end, that's when I just kind of... It's like, now granted, they gave you the foreshadowing at the beginning, so you knew something was up. But then, I'm just going... When it got to the end where you meet Cassandra, and then she's on this island with all these rehabilitated mutants... I'm just like, and you see like a Sabretooth like was going like, "Hey buddy, give me a hug, Wolverine." I was just like, I'm done with you. I don't know, I'm just done. I guess you can say there's also, to add more to it, there's a lot of these characters I don't really care about, like Angel and Beak. I hated those characters, and when you add them again into the main story with bad art and everything else, it's just not helping. So I think while some people are really going to enjoy E for Extinction, I'm ending my journey with this issue right here. Okay, now Infinity Gauntlet 2 actually starts going places. If you remember, there's the family, they're being chased by the bugs, which really reminded me of like the Zerg, chomping down on the Terran installation. The mom shows up as Nova. She's like, there's a war going on. We need everybody. She gives everybody a Nova crystal to turn everybody into Novas, including the dog. And they go off to fight their merry way, basically. Now, what was good about this is they show more about the Thanos part. And Thanos is doing some time traveling just so he can see possible outcomes. And that part was interesting. You have the Guardians of the Galaxy. There's multiple Infinity Gauntlets. And it's starting to develop, but at the same time, I'm just going, I don't like kids in a movie theater, and I don't want my kids in these books. Let's get some adults, who are fighters, and let's get some action going, because these kids are not going to be able to stand up to Thanos. They're not heroes. So I'm like, we gotta move this thing into a little bit better direction. But I'm enjoying it for the most part so far. Okay, I thought I'd give this a try, the Lost Army for the Green Lanterns. And I'll be honest with you, this is what we call an example of the House of No Ideas. Longer time readers might have heard of a book called Legion Lost. And Legion Lost was basically the Legion of Superheroes. A group of them were off in space, and they get transported to a far reach of the universe where they're lost. They have no way of getting home. They don't even know how to get home. And that's what this book is here. It's basically a group of Green Lanterns with limited power for their batteries, and they don't know where they're at, and they don't know, and they're having trouble finding out what's going on. They're being basically, in this universe, they're being attacked by, I guess you can say these would be like antibodies. These are, like, as you can see, just blobs of color that are basically if they touch their skin, they would disintegrate their skin. So if enough of them landed on them, they would pretty much just disintegrate and they'd die instantly. So, and this is so far their main villain. The ending, we get a little bit extra, and Guy Gardner shows up with a little surprise. But other than that, I'm just like going, you know, supposedly DC is saying that this book is going to be crucial to the DC universe going forward. So I'm kind of curious where that's going to lead it. So I might go for another issue or two. But I'll be honest, man, this is Legion Lost. This is no new ideas whatsoever. And it's pretty sad that they went to this level. There's other ways I think they could have accomplished this similar story. But to just copy and paste it exactly is, I don't know, it's kind of insulting. X-Men 92. I went through stages with this one. One day I wanted to buy it, the next day didn't want to buy it, so I thought I'd give it I said, I'll give it a try. This is basically the X-Men cartoon. It's craziness like that. If you read the dialogue, the danger room is destroyed, so they're at a mall playing laser tag. It's just like, I can't describe it other than this is like watching the cartoon, but you're watching a Secret Wars warped version of these characters. Like Wolverine's in costume at a clothing store and nobody's caring. Like mutants are good people for the most part now, and it's just weird. It's just it takes a little bit getting used to. Even Senator Kelly's on their side now, and of course, something bad is looming on the back end of things. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to continue this book or not. Even Cassandra Nova is the villain in this book too. And, for me, the nostalgia of the cartoon is pretty much over when I read this book. So, I don't know if I'm going to continue reading this one either. I might give it another shot, but I don't know. I can see where people are really going to love this book, though. The art's okay, but it's definitely has a different 90-ish vibe to it with, modern day colors and a little twists or turns in terms of the art style. But under normal circumstances, yeah, this would be a drop for me. Okay, MODOK Assassin number 2. This is just actually really funny because it's like MODOK and he's trying to, impress Angela, and Angela's like thinks that MODOK attacked her, so she's trying to kill him, and he's trying to tell her no, and he's in love with her because come on, why wouldn't you be in love with her? And you have the Kingpin and his group of assassins who want to kill MODOK, and they're just waiting for the right time. They get their time, and this next issue is where there's going to be some serious fighting. Now, I'm actually really excited. I'm enjoying it. I think there's a little bit of humor spread throughout this book. The art's, decent. It makes MODOK a little bit more human at times. So it actually would make it plausible that Angela would listen to him instead of being, like, oh, that you just look like an evil scientist, I'm not going to talk to you type thing. But it was enjoyable. And for me, I think what appeals to me is it's a little different than everything else that's out there. So while I would say this is not on everybody's want list, it's pretty entertaining, funny. Okay, Planet Hulk number 2. This issue gives us a little bit more idea of what this world is like. This world is definitely not like the Steve Rogers Cap. This world is based on Captain Falcon, and we show Captain America and Bucky basically, or Steve and Bucky. They're normal people, but then they go into this program to become super soldiers, so they can fight this war. And then fast forward, and then we get to see a Hulk teaming up with Steve Rogers and Devil Dinosaur. Overall, I think the art is good. I think the story is entertaining. I'm definitely in on this book. I guess you can say part of it's the dinosaur that does it for me. but it's also, you get to see some monsters, creatures. The fighting is okay, but it's just mostly them fighting those creatures and stuff for right now. And I'm definitely enjoying it so far. Okay, Daredevil. The one thing I really want to talk about Daredevil was the Kingpin's art gallery. Now, Kingpin and MODOK have a similar adversary. So, Matt's kind of like going, well, we should team up. And then, Kingpin's like, well, just because we have similar villains doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be allies. But they go to the art gallery to continue the discussion. And you can see, man, Kingpin, his art gallery is just filled with pictures of Daredevil just getting killed. And I was just like, oh man, this is awesome. This is awesome. But anyways, that's it for that. Alright. Age of Ultron versus Marvel Zombies. This is for just setup story, where it's basically saying, okay, here's the world. We have Marvel Zombies over on that side. We have some superheroes in the middle. And we have Age of Ultron over on this side. They explain a little bit more about what happened with the Age of Ultron and why those heroes are all dead. Or I should say most of them are dead. But the key is they're bringing in a version of Hank Pym and other heroes, which I'll leave as a surprise. And then they are going to try to put an end to this guy over here. So it was in a way, part of it was a little bit different than I thought it was going to be, but at the same time, I can see it basically going to be exactly what I think it's going to be. But can't say it's the greatest book, but out of the other Marvel Secret Wars titles, this was probably one of the better ones that came out. But that's not also saying a lot of much also, because a lot of those Marvel books were bad. Or not really bad, just kind of like average. But anyways, except for Krovak Saga, that was just horrible. Anyways, this is some reviews for you today. Let me know what you guys picked up, what you guys liked. I'll have some more stuff for you later. Don't forget to like, share. I do the podcast with Con Freaks and Geeks, and that's down below. And we'll have some more stuff later. So, until next time.